Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 39. Let me have a look. 39. Of course my fucking internet isn't working. My internet is the shittest. I started this podcast in such a good mood, and now I'm furious. My internet is so fucked. You wonder why, right? I'm like, the video will be up at 7:30, and then it's like 10:30, and it's still uploading. You wonder why I have to delay my fucking videos all the time. It's because my internet is the biggest piece of shit. Oh, it's episode 38. I was wrong. Okay, so you see why I was so angry, because it took me that long to load one page, and I managed to just fucking rant about my internet that long. I'm so angry I need my inhaler. Because, I've got that fucking, it's like, I have internet that is so old. I'm with Optus or some shit. Optus are the only cunts that service my area, and the plan that their infrastructure in my area is so fucking old that we can only use their shithouse modems that were invented in like 2004, and now because of the nature of technology improving, the modem was not built to have like 5 computers and 50 phones connected to it at one time, so it's that slow. And there's literally, I can't even get a better modem router thing because you can only get one model. And it was, I looked it up, it was fucking made in 2004. It's not built for the amount of porn I'm watching on my iPhone. No, I'm just kidding. Who watches porn on an iPhone? Alright, so I really was in a good mood. I'm just going to put the fucking internet thing out of my mind. I have had one of the most productive weeks I've had in a really long time, guys. I think I've done. I'm looking at my my whiteboard where I write all of this week's goals that I need to achieve, because I just want to be the very best comedian that I can be. Right? I look at all my goals, and I've done every single one. I went to gym. I performed. I put out multiple videos and an article, and all of them went really well. I had a little business meeting about a very secret project that I'm not going to tell you about, but I've known about it for about almost a year, and I haven't told you about it, and I'm still not going to tell you about it for probably at least 6 months. But when it's announced, you're going to be fucking excited. No, I'm not. I was like, should I give him a hint? And then I was like, no, I'm not even going to give you a hint. So you guys can just keep guessing. And you know what my favorite thing is? Whenever I go, I've got a secret project coming up, everybody just automatically goes, holy fuck, he's in a movie. This is it. Our boy Lewis is going to be the lead role. He's going to be starring next to Brad Pitt. Our boy Lewis is going to be the next fucking Kevin Hart, right? I noticed the other day, I'm not in a fucking movie, okay? I'll tell you that, I'm not in a fucking movie. Who's going to put me in a movie? Right? You're going to put me standing next to Brad Pitt? All of those leading men are fucking tiny. They're real short. How the fuck are you going to fit this giraffe cunt next to Brad Pitt, who's like 5'4"? I bet he's not. I bet he's tall. Nah, you know what? All of these handsome guys, they just put them next to really short girls. I'm looking at Brad Pitt height. I'm saying, like, my serious guess is like 5'10". Oh, my fucking internet. I can't even Google. This is so shit. What a piece of shit. See, this is what the whole podcast is going to be, guys. It's going to be me erratically flipping between being in a really good mood and then remembering how shit my internet is and just raging. So, okay, I'm looking it up on my phone. So, Brad Pitt height. And you know what? Every time, if you look at, you can't trust a man's original, like their own. If a man tells you, any guy who's like under 6'4", whatever they tell you their height is, take off like 2 inches and that's how tall they actually are. That's what I think. Because everyone's trying to be a little bit taller, but once you pass 6'4", everyone's just really honest because, you know, if I'm truthful with you, being this tall is a massive inconvenience. You know what the worst thing about... I'm 6'8", it's like 2 meters. You know what the worst thing about being this tall is... people try and guess my penis size in conversation, and it's really fucking weird. Like, that's a thing that happens all the time. But the most annoying thing for me, right, is I can't hear people, especially in public. Because and especially girls, right? If I'm talking to a short girl, because generally girls, their voice doesn't travel as far as men because they're higher pitched, right? Lower pitched voices, they travel further. So especially if I'm talking to a short girl who speaks quietly, and if we're like walking down the street, I literally can't hear it, right? Because if you think about it, if I'm 6'8" and I'm talking to a girl who's like 5'4", that's literally like me trying to have a conversation with someone who's 1.5 feet away from me. If we were face to face and I was trying to talk to a girl who was standing 1.5 feet away from me in a public space, I wouldn't be able to hear them. But because we're walking down the street, I come off as really fucking rude, like I'm just not listening, but I cannot hear you. So look, girls and pint-sized men, if you come up to me in the street, that's great, but just speak up, because I can't fucking hear you. You're too far away. What? Come up here and say that. Like, it's ridiculous. And I just look like a rude cunt who doesn't pay attention. What was I doing? Brad Pitt's height. Okay, I'm on my phone now. Let me look at this fucking shit. Alright. Brad Pitt height. Search. You know, I'm out of fucking mobile data. How do I go through mobile data? I have 9 gigs every month, and I consistently go over that limit every month. You know what it is? I think it's because of Snapchat. Getting too many nudes on Snapchat, you know what I'm saying? No, I think it's because when me and Elliot Loney first installed Snapchat, and we were like, oh, this Snapchat could be like a thing to have fans on. Like nobody was really using it as a way to interact with fans and show other people shit. It was just a very personal thing. But me and Elliot were like, oh, fuck, we should jump on this app early and get lots of fans on it because it's a really cool way to interact and be personal with people who like our shit. So we got on and we were like, we hadn't really seen any other famous people on there. So we're like, oh, fuck, how do you have followers? So I guess you got to follow everyone back, right? So we put our Snapchats up there, and then we followed every single person who added us back. And we thought that was the only way that you guys could see our Snapchats, was if we followed you back. But we didn't know you could just follow and we didn't have to follow back. I had no idea you could do that. So me and Elliot sat there all day following every single person who added us back until we hit the friend limit, which is like 5,000 people, I'm pretty sure. And now my phone, every time I open up Snapchat, loads 5,000 stories by people who I don't know. And it's not that I don't like you guys, but I don't give a fuck about your life. Do you know? No, like what I'm saying is, if I see... Like, you look at the amount of boring shit that people put on Snapchat. Like even your best friend, right? Your closest, truest friend. You love them like a fucking sibling. And you look at the reprehensibly inane, boring shit they put on Snapchat. Like selfie recording themselves in a nightclub. Or fucking filming the street. Or taking a photo of the cafe that they're at. Imagine that, except all of the positive feelings you have about that person because of your friendship is not there and you've never met them. And you will not be able to care less about something. That's what I have on my Snapchat stories. And you guys are great, but I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about what you're having for breakfast at your shitty indie cafe where you paid $20 to get fucking bacon and eggs on toast, and then they bring it out and it turns out it's just one piece of toast. I swear, man, cafes' food is getting fucking smaller. This is a really angry podcast. I just realized I was in such a good mood and then my internet's fucked, so I'm just yelling. I'm sorry, guys. Let me try and... Okay, look, I'll talk about cafe food and then I'll mellow it down and I'll talk about some positive shit. We got a deal? Can I just rant about this? All right? Cool. This is such a first world problem. This is such... Like, if there are any fucking Sudanese kids who are, like, in the dirt and the only thing they own is an iPhone 6S, and for some reason I don't know, maybe you know what, maybe when a plane was flying over that was just full of people who were doing that volunteerism stuff, you know, building orphanages in villages that need money more than an orphanage, maybe like the door flew open and someone's iPhone 6 fell out the door and hit the ground, and then some kid living off 50 cents a day picks it up, and it's got, like, I don't know, 6 hours left on charge, and the dude doesn't even speak English, but he somehow manages to find my podcast on that phone, and he puts the headphones in and he starts listening, and he's listening to this episode and this very moment, and I start getting really angry about overpriced cafe food. He's going to be like, what are you complaining about? But that's very unlikely. So anyway, I swear cafe food portions are getting smaller and more expensive. I went to a cafe, when I went to this business meet, right, with this fucking dude about this secret project that you're not going to hear about for a really long time, so I probably shouldn't talk about it. I ordered a fucking Eggs Benedict. Now, my idea of a good Eggs Benedict is like big piece of toast, 2 big pieces of toast, 2 fucking eggs, sauce, and then a shitload of ham or salmon, depending on how you like it. I'm a salmon man, right? I order this shit, and it comes out on 2 incredibly small, like, English breakfast muffins. You know those fucking things they serve you at Macca's, and it doesn't matter where you go, they all taste like sandpaper, and you eat it, and your body goes, wow, we can't process this. I'm not going to shit for days. You know those fucking English muffin things? Doesn't matter where you go. They just taste like it's like a sponge, and it just clogs up your system, and your body's just like, I'm taking the day off. Maybe that's why English people are so miserable, because they keep having those English breakfast muffins at like the first thing they eat in the day, and then they can't shit for a week, and that's why they're so fucking miserable. Maybe it's the rain. I don't know. Yeah, it came out on that, and it was $20, and it was just fucking stupid. And the guy that I was meeting with, he got a burger, and that was fucking better than mine. It's always that. I always order the shit thing, or I always order the girl meal whenever I go out to breakfast with my girl. She always gets the fucking man thing. Like, she'll get the burger and I'll get the avocado smash, like that fucking pussy meal. And then the waitress will come out and she'll be like, oh, well, obviously the burger's for the guy. She'll be like, all right, so who ordered the burger? And she just starts giving it to me. And then my girlfriend will go, no, I did. And then they just get real confused and they give her the burger and then they give me the avocado smash, which is like fucking tiny. And then I eat it and I'm still hungry. And, all right, what was I? Okay, let's talk about some happy shit, shall we? I've been real productive this week. I've done some really good shit, right? I performed 4 times this week, and I got to be honest with you guys, while my stage presence and my material is improving exponentially, I am barely conscious. Because I did 4 shows, and you know what? It's not so much doing the show that tires me, it's the travel, because, you know, often comedy nights are fucking late as. So you got to go there, you got to wait around until it's your turn and get up and you do your fucking bit, and then it's exhilarating and it's fucking sick, and then you got to go all the way home. And it's a lot of traveling for literally 5 minutes on stage, but you know, it's fucking worth it. I had I probably had my best set of the year so far at this place called Freddie Wimplow's, which I'll probably be returning to. And it was just, I think I unlocked a new level. Basically, how I'm trying to improve with my stage stuff this year is because obviously I'm still learning. You know, everyone's still learning. There's always ways to improve on your stuff. So from my first year, my first show was basically, I want to do a genuinely good show that's funny all the way through. And I really nailed that. But I don't think that I said anything. Like, I don't think many people left the show. You know, when you leave a really good stand-up comedy show and you're like, oh, I've never thought about that in this way before. That is so true. Or they leave and go, oh my God, you are so like the person he was talking about. There definitely are people like that. You know, when you leave with something that you truly have never, you leave with an observation that's definitely true and you've never thought of it that way before. I don't think I did that with my first show. It was definitely a really funny show, but I really wanted to nail saying something. So with my second show, I think I really fucking nailed with this 10-minute bit that I did about hairdressers and the difference between bad ones and good ones, and then I did a whole thing about the gay version of Adolf Hitler. I think I really fucking nailed looking at hairdressing in a completely different way that no other comedians tackled, and I think people left the show going, that is so true, oh my God, so relatable, right? I think I fucking nailed that there. But now, with this next show that I'm writing, I think the way that I'm going to improve is not so much with the writing. It's not my main focus because I've become a lot better at writing and my jokes are much funnier just by nature of doing it a lot. But the thing that I'm focusing on improving is my stage presence and just commanding the stage and commanding people's attentions and just really standing out. And I think to me, that's the most important thing. That's more important than jokes. That's more important than what you say on stage is how you say it. Because you look at the difference between like someone like Bob Dylan, right? Admittedly, probably he would even say this, he's not the best technically gifted singer on the planet, but the way he sings is with such conviction, and the passion in his fucking lyrics comes through so much that you listen to it and you fucking forget that he's kind of a little bit shit at singing and his voice sounds like a cheese grater in a washing machine. And the same is true for comedy. So what I'm trying to do with my next show, which will be touring will be touring early next year, is I'm trying to just improve so much with my stage presence that I'm up there with the fucking professionals that have been doing it for 10 years. And I think that I'm getting there. I really do think that I'm getting there and standing out. And that's why I'm doing a lot of open mic nights with, that have like 10 different comedians on there. Because if you can stand out, truly stand out beyond being the funniest at an open mic night with 10 other talented comedians, that's what real stage presence is. And I think that I really fucking nailed that with one gig in particular where, I don't know, I suppose just punters who were there who had never seen me perform live, they'd never seen my online shit, were really saying that I stood out, but they didn't have the vocabulary or the knowledge of stand-up comedy to convey in correct words why. They were just saying, oh, you just stood out, you're just different, and blah, blah. And that was really fucking cool for me. That was kind of confirmation of, oh yes, the shit that I'm doing and the shit that I'm trying is working. And I suppose I'll tell you what I'm trying, right? What I'm doing is I'm just talking a lot slower. I'm leaving way more pauses in my jokes to just let the audience kind of relax. Because a really bad habit that I've gotten into when I'm on stage is because when I'm so in the zone and I fucking love what I'm doing when I'm on stage and I love my material, often I just want to fucking say the jokes and I don't give the audience space to laugh. It's very important to just let them laugh after you tell a joke, and often I'll begin talking while people are still laughing, and then that stops them from laughing. And it's not a huge deal when you do it once, but when you do it a few times throughout a set, it almost trains the audience for their own sake not to laugh too hard at your shit, because if they do, they'll miss the next part of the joke. So what I've been trying to do is just slow the fuck down, really just enjoy saying all of the words and letting it sit with the audience, and not being afraid of silence, because silence can be a scary thing when you're on stage doing comedy, but it's also a really, really important tool. Sometimes the hardest I've laughed is while a comedian is saying literally nothing. Like they will have said a joke, I will laugh, they stay fucking silent, and then you think about what they said and you start laughing again even harder than before. And if you give the audience the freedom to do that, to laugh at their own kind of leisure, they feel much more comfortable joining in, like by way of yelling out or giving applause breaks. And like this one set that I really nailed it, I don't think I'd gotten fucking an applause break for like a month, but in this one particular set that I did where I was like, right, I'm just going to fucking slow down, I'm going to ride the crowd's energy and just try and sync with them. I got 3 fucking applause breaks, and it was all with new material that wasn't that wasn't finished yet. It's not as funny as it can be just yet. Like it's good, but it still needs some more work. And that was really kind of confirmation of, oh yeah, this is what I need to do for next year's show to make next year's really stand out. Because like I keep saying, it doesn't matter how good your jokes are, if you say them too fast, or if you say them without confidence, they won't be funny. I think the audience needs to know that you know you're funny. Like they like seeing a guy who gets up on stage and is like, I know that you're going to laugh at this. It's I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I think that's the best way that I can do it, is you just get up there and you convey, I know what I'm doing and you're in safe hands. Does that make sense? Probably not. What else have I been doing? Yeah, I've been working on the tour. So next show, it looks like it's going to be, we've been booking in shows. I'm not going to announce it yet because it's not all locked in yet. You know, I could get hit by a bus before now and then. But it's looking like it's going to be the biggest tour that I've ever done. It should be 19 dates. Whereas previously I've done like 12 shows in a row in Melbourne. I'm not going to do that. I really enjoyed doing that, doing a really long run in smaller theaters, but I think I've learned all that I can from that, and now I want to upgrade to like the fucking big kind of theaters that I really want to do. So in Melbourne will be theaters, and that's really exciting. But yeah, it's going to be 19 dates. I'm going to be going all over. I'm going to do regional shows. So if you are not in major cities, don't worry. I'll probably be coming to you. If you want to be notified when the shows are announced, if you jump on lousespears.com/giglist, you'll be able to... Sorry, what? I said lousespears.com/giglist. No, mate, I fucking... Every single time, bro, I say this URL or I tell you the email address, you want me to repeat myself. Well, are you an idiot or can I not speak English? Because I'm pretty sure I've been running this podcast for 38 fucking episodes in a row and not one person has told me to work on my English skills. So I think that your listening skills need a touch up, man. It is lousespears.com/giglist. Did you write it down? Well, then find a fucking pen. Here. I got a pen. Here, take that. Just write it in. Why, you don't have a note? Oh, you fucking idiot. Hang on, let me get your notepad. All right. Here, take that. Write it in the book. Thank you. Now, no, don't give it back to me. Hold on to it. Just put that... Just, here, just fucking take this, right, what you just wrote down, and keep that in your pocket. And then I won't have to tell you the fucking URL for the gig list anymore. Hold on to it, alright? lousespears.com/giglist. Thank you. Fuck. Idiot, man. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so if you want to be informed about my upcoming shows, it's loosebeers.com/giglist. If you go on that URL, and then all you got to do is you chuck in your name and the city that you live in. And basically, I plan my tours around who's on that. So what I do is I'll search in like all the cities that are on the list, and I'll travel to the ones that have the most people on there. So if you feel like you live in a regional city and you're like, it's too small for Lewis to come in here, if you put your name on that gig list, that's part of the reason why I go to these fucking regional towns. Like I'm going to Geelong because so many people on the gig list have wrote in Geelong. Mind you, some people are fucking retarded. It clearly says in the form, right? It's city, and some people write their fucking state. Like, I live in New South Wales. Do you know how fucking big and how many cities are in New South Wales? You absolute drop. And then I send those people the email when I'm like, hey, I'm going to Sydney, and they're like, I don't live in Sydney. Really? Well, you fucking wrote down New South Wales, cunt. So I'm assuming that you're prepared to travel from one side of the state to the other just to see my show. Don't fucking get angry at me. All right, this is a really angry podcast, isn't it? Yeah, so loosebeers.com/giglist if you want to check out when I'm performing. Oh, also, while I'm plugging shit, I have an announcement to make about the podcast. Finally, if you're a Patreon supporter, I have figured out how to release the podcast early for you guys. So, for example, today I'm recording this on Saturday, so the Patreon people will be listening to it today if they're keen and they're onto it. So, usually I record every podcast episode on a Friday. Today it's Saturday, but usually I do it on Fridays. So, from next week, if you're a Patreon supporter, you're going to get. Actually, from this week, from this episode, if you're a Patreon supporter, you will get every single fucking podcast episode early from now. So that's a thing I've been trying to figure out for ages. So if you want to support me on Patreon, that's how I keep all my content free and as high quality as I can afford it, is because of you legends supporting me on there. And if you just like my podcast, there you go. There's a fucking incentive, because I've been trying to figure out how to incorporate the podcast into Patreon, because I know a lot of you guys listen and support me there. So there's your fucking reward if you're a Patreon supporter. And it's no minimum either, right? If you... with the early content, even if you're given 50 cents a month, you still get it. So, what else am I talking about today? Oh yeah, I've been productive as fuck. So I did a video. I did that video about that guy who was harassing the woman on the tram who turned out to be autistic, and that fucking blew up, man. It's got like 1.5 million views. That's my biggest video that I've ever put out, and I feel really happy about that, because it was kind of done for like a good reason, I think. So it's really cool that video, it wasn't particularly funny. Like there was like one funny line in there where I was like, no, Laura, that's autism. Like that was a funny line in there, but it's kind of cool that I can use this platform that I've built up to say positive shit instead of just making funny videos and saying nothing. So that was really, really cool to do, because I've worked with kids who have autism, and they're fucking great people, and they don't get, sometimes they struggle with social cues, and they can come off as intimidating, but it's just the nature of the, I don't know what to call it. I don't feel right calling it a disability. Like I said disability in the video a lot, but I don't know. To me, like, a disability is like fucking being a quadriplegic. Like, you can't do that. But, autism, it's not exactly a disability. I don't know what you would call it. An illness? It's not an illness, because illnesses can be fixed. A disorder. I think that's what it's called, an intellectual disorder. Because it's not a disability. Like, people with autism, there are so many people with autism who are functional, happy people. Because the thing with autism is such a fucking wide spectrum. You can be from a guy who's, autism can be a guy who struggles a little bit in social situations, all the way up to a girl who literally cannot verbally speak, and can only understand speech, but can't actually speak it themselves. And they can't get a job, and they need a carer. It's such a fucking wide spectrum. So I struggle calling it a disability, because while there are some on the autism spectrum who you would look at it and think, fuck, they're disabled, they can't function as well as other people. But then there are some other people who have autism who are just you wouldn't even know it until they told you. So, I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, it was cool that went viral. And then I did a fucking article about this old cunt who's angry at HSC students for running a meme page. It's this bitter old woman called Rachel Corbett. Basically, the gist of her article was this 35-year-old woman. She goes into a meme Facebook group page full of kids studying in high school, and she starts trolling through it because there's nothing weird about a 35-year-old woman hanging out with, trying to blend in with the high school kids, right? And she starts going through it and picking out all their memes and making fun of it. And it was just such an out-of-touch article where she just blasted kids for telling jokes about the stress of exams and then tried to shoehorn that into her point of view, which is kids today are lazy and they're scared of hard work and memes are disgusting and violent. And it was just so fucking out of touch that I had to write an article about it, and it went really well, and now there are all these fucking gorgeous hipster Sydney girls straight out of high school, 18 years old, all over my page. Lord, give me strength. But yeah, I don't know. That was a really fun article to write. That truth article. It's on my website if you want to check it out. I think I'm going to write more articles like that. And you know what I'm so fucking sick of? Just old people calling young people lazy. It's just such a fucking tired concept. And you know what? I guarantee you when they were young, their older generation were telling them that they were fucking lazy. Like, how did people lack the self-awareness to understand, oh, fuck, when I was a kid, old people were telling me that I was lazy and I thought they were out of touch. Now I'm their age and I'm telling the younger generation that they're lazy and they think that I'm out of touch. But I'm not out of touch. I'm like, how do you not have the self-awareness to realize your first reaction might be fucking wrong? Like sometimes I'll see shit, like I'm 22 and I'll see shit that 15-year-old kids are doing, and I'll go, that's fucking stupid. But then I'll catch myself thinking that and go, nah, that's just what they're into. That's just a new fucking thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. And them being into that does not mean that they're incapable of hard work. It's just different to what I grew up with. I think that whole fucking young kids are lazy and scared of hard work is such a tired concept that's just going to be repeated till the end of time. And it scares the shit out of me to think that when I'm 40 that I might think that. I think that we need to acknowledge that when we're 40, we should make a concerted effort not to fucking just discredit an entire generation because we don't understand the next fucking trend that they're doing. Because it's just stupid. And to imply that young kids have no idea what hard work is fucking bullshit. And to rag on kids for stressing about their HSC or their VCE exams. If you're not from Australia, that's like their final exams. When you finish high school, we have one big exam, and then that gives us one big mark called an ATAR, or I think HSC is called something else. But basically, your main mark is out of 100, and a university course will be like, well, if you want to study if you want to become a doctor, you need to get at least 98 on your final high school exam test. Otherwise, you cannot study to become a doctor. So if that's some kid's dream, of course the cunt's going to be a little bit fucking stressed. And I think to just bag kids for stressing about their exams and being like, oh, the ATAR mark doesn't matter. And you know what? That's fucking true. It doesn't matter. But we only know that because we're out of high school and we have that hindsight. When you're in high school, and I failed high school, right? I scored so bad on my final test that they didn't tell me my mark. I think if you get below 30%, they don't tell you the mark to spare your feelings. Like, that was me. But when you're in the high school sheltered, never been in the real world environment, you were told from fucking the first year of school right up until your 13th year that this one test is the most important thing. You're told it by teachers, by principals, by your peers, by your parents, that it's the most important fucking thing of year 12 and therefore the most important thing of your entire school career to the date. And then you wonder why people fucking stress about it. It's because all these schools are focused on getting these fucking imaginary numbers that only reward people for excelling in one style of learning. And then and they put so much emphasis on that and it's not even for the kids' benefit, right? It's not for the kids' benefit that they focus on these things, because often schools are awarded funding and money depending on how well their students are performing in the final tests, which to me doesn't make sense, right? Why would you give more money to the school that has the highest marks? They clearly don't need more money. Their kids are doing fine. If you have a school getting terrible marks, you should be funneling money into that one, because obviously they might fucking need it to improve how they're teaching the kids. Like, I remember, I went to a really, really prestigious public school, which pretends that it's a private school. I went to McKinnon High. Shout out to anyone who's still there. And I remember they tried to expel me because they knew that I was going to get a bad mark. They were so focused on marks and shit, because another reason why is because the overseas students, they have to pay more to go to a school. So if you have a lot of, like, lots and lots of students when I was in school were from Korea. Rich people in Korea would just send their kids to Australia to get an education there, and they would pay for it, up front. And because they're international students, they're not funded by the government or anything. Like, we get government assistance to go to school, and I think also because they're international, they actually have to pay more. So it's they get charged more, and they got to pay it straight away rather than, being helped by the government and it costing less, which makes sense because they're internationals and they're not Australian citizens. So, Australia's focused on people who live there, not people who are there to study. It makes sense. But obviously, the rich Korean people who want to send their kids to school, if they're going to pay a fuckload of money, they want to send them to the best schools. So obviously, high schools have figured out, if we get really good marks, we get lots of Korean international students. So we need to make sure that every kid who's finishing year 12 is getting good marks, so we'll get more money. And McKinnon High School was I think is pretty notorious for doing this. And I remember halfway through year 12, they figured out that I was going to do absolutely terribly in my VCE exams. And the principal actually got me into a meeting, and she sat me down. I won't say her name, but she sat me down and she tried to expel me. And I can't remember, because I remember that I was a bit of a smartass, but I had never done anything expulsion worthy. And she was talking about kicking me out of the school. And it was like a meeting that went on for an hour, where she was like, "You're going to have to leave the school. I'm going to talk to your parents, and you're going to have to leave the school." And I remember she never used the word expulsion, and I was sitting there listening to this principal talk to me, and I was thinking, I haven't done anything that warrants expulsion. I don't understand why I'm doing this. And it's slowly ticking over in my head while she's talking to me about how I'm going to have to leave the school. And I'm like, this is because I'm getting bad marks. This is because I'm going to fail the fucking VCE thing. This doesn't have anything to do with my behavior. She's not bringing up any examples. She's not saying that I've vandalized anything. She's not saying that I get into fights or that I'm bullying anyone. She's just telling me that I need to leave the school because I'm not focusing. And I'm obviously not serious about school. She literally was saying shit like, you're not focusing in class and you're not distracting others, but you're not trying, so I don't think there's any point in you finishing year 12, so we're going to talk to your parents. And I'm like, nah. And then we had this whole talk, and she left like, so you're going to be leaving the school. And then I left her office, and it was like this final... The conversation was very much, you're getting kicked out of the school, but it was never with expulsion. And the more I started thinking about it, she wasn't trying to expel me. she was trying to make it sound like I had no choice other than leaving the school. But at the end of the day, me and my parents would still have to agree that I was going to stop doing high school. And I started looking up like the legal the legal grounds for expulsion of a high school kid in Australia. And generally, you need to be suspended. It may have changed now, but when I was in high school, it was you need to be suspended at least twice in the same year, or you need to have done something catastrophic, like punch a teacher or really hurt someone, or super vandalize a school. Like you know what I'm talking about. It's like something genuinely really bad. You can't just be disruptive or failing. Like you cannot expel a kid for failing high school, because if they're failing high school, the point of school is to be like, how do we fix this? Not, we need to get rid of this cunt because he's going to bring down our average. And then I came back into an office, like, later in that day, and I was just like, I'm not leaving. You can't expel me. You know that you can't expel me. You just gave me an hour-long talk trying to make it sound like I was getting kicked out, but I still have to agree, and I don't agree. I'm not leaving. And I didn't. And that was the end of it. And I know that she had that talk with other kids, and it was just kind of fucked to realize that, oh shit, some kids didn't realize that they could fight that. Some kids thought they were getting expelled. They didn't realize what they were actually doing was agreeing. They were being manipulated into dropping out, instead of and thinking that they were getting expelled, and their parents also thought they were getting expelled, but really what was happening was they were fucking agreeing and signing documents, and it sounded like they had to do it. And that's some fucking intense shit. And I think that that's why the final tests, VCE and HSC, are so focused on by principals and teachers is fucking money. That's what it comes down to. And you wonder why the kids are stressed. Did you like that, guys? You like my little fucking rant about high school? Huh? Hey, was it a little bit too Illuminati, too conspiracy theory for you? You know what? Fuck you if you think that. I think it's true. What, you want a source? Anecdotal evidence, mate. That's what I got. Nah, I truly believe that, man. It's all about fucking money. That's what everything comes down to. It's not conspiracy to think that, money corrupts shit, because it fucking does. Look at America. That place is rooted. Absolutely fucked. Hillary Clinton getting $1 million from Saudi Arabia for her birthday. Here you go. This is totally not a favor. You won't have to repay us in any way. We're just a country giving $1 million to a person for their birthday. You're not going to have to repay us at all. Totally above board. Yeah, fucking horse shit. Donald Trump, he's no better. Yeah, hey, I'm a fucking multi-millionaire, and I own construction businesses, and when I become president, I'm definitely not going to give them work. I'm definitely not going to manipulate the situation and the planning of the country to benefit my own personal businesses. That would never happen. Of course it's going to happen. You're fucking human and we're shit. And that's nothing against, well, you know what it is? It is against Donald Trump and it is against Hillary Clinton. They're both fucked, but you know what? I think Donald Trump's pretty funny, so I hope he wins, because it'd be great for me. That's honestly it. I hope he wins because it'd be fucking funny. Because I can sit here in Australia and laugh at all you fucking... How the fuck did you let that happen? You got a big orange reality TV star versus a person that doesn't even have a fucking soul, looks like Darth Sidious, and is just doing favors for everybody who pays their money. You guys are fucked. Congratulations, America, on however the fuck you managed to do that. Oh man, that's why, I think that shit is why people should have to vote. Ah, man, that's funny. Anyway, let's get on some questions, shall we? Alright, so, today I have 3 questions from 3 girls who listen to the podcast. If you want to send in a question, this is the miscellaneous bit of the end of the podcast. It's the fucking worst part. Really, this part of the podcast makes me question why, not why I'm a comedian, but why I'm still alive. This really makes me contemplate just leaving this terrible, painful earth, because I hate this part, and so do you guys. Turn off the podcast. You don't want to hear this shit. I answer questions. If you want to send in a question, you can email me at contact@louspears.com. And can you please not send me a fucking essay, all right? I really can't read anything more than, like, I don't know, 3 kind of large paragraphs. Because I had a look this morning at all the emails that I have, and they're just way too long. And some of them are really interesting, but it's just way too long. If you've listened to this and you've sent me a fucking email and you're wondering why I haven't answered it, have a look at what you sent me. And if you have to scroll 3 times and you're still not at the end, it's too fucking long. I'm not going to read it. Just send me an updated version or whatever. Yeah, so send me some questions for next episode, and I'll try my best to give you some life advice. If you follow it, don't blame me when it fucks up. All right, so this one is from a lovely lady called, a lovely girl called Lily. Hi, this is a question for MB at symbol T. Oh, miscellaneous bit at the end. That's way too long for an acronym, Lily, but good on you for giving it a go. All right. My name is Lily, and I accidentally sent nudes. I accidentally sent nudes to one of my friends, and now things are really awkward. I need some advice or whatever because I'm a dumb fuck. Yeah, I think you... I'll agree with you there, Lily. That's a big mistake. I've never done that. Not yet, anyway. Basically, me and the guy, let's call him Bob, have been friends since last year, and I accidentally sent nudes to Bob on Snapchat because I thought his Snapchat was the intended recipient's. I'm a dumb fuck. It's really awkward because we've been friends for a while, and then I accidentally sent him nudes, and we have a couple of classes at school together. He said he was fine with it and that he wasn't going to tell anybody. One of the things that make it more awkward is that last week Bob was checking out my boobs and he said they were nice but couldn't tell properly because I had a shirt on and just shit like that. By the way, I love the podcast and I listen to it on the way to school on the bus, except for miscellaneous bit at the end makes me want to neck myself. Thanks, Lily. Appreciate the message. Yeah, you're a dumb fuck. I agree with you. That's a huge fucking mistake, accidentally sending nudes to a friend. He sounds like he enjoyed it, though, which is probably another negative to your situation, Lily. I don't really know what you're supposed to do here. I've only ever received nudes like on purpose from people who intended to send it to me. So basically, you're mates with this guy, and now he's seen your tits, and he is obviously attracted to you, and you don't know what to do because you've completely fucked up the dynamic of your relationship now. I think that it sounds like obviously you're not interested in him at all, so I think the only thing that you're going to have to do is, it's something that, it's not going to ruin the friendship, unless he doesn't drop it. It's something that you guys just need to like talk about once and then just never acknowledge it again. Do you know what I mean? When you have something awkward, like accidentally kind of sexual with a girl, if you keep bringing it up, that makes you a creep. Like if I was in a bar with a platonic female friend and I walked past her and, bumped into someone behind me and then I accidentally grazed her boobs, that'd be a little bit awkward. I could go, oh, I'm really sorry I touched your boobs. She'd go, no, that's fine. And we could laugh about it because I'm an idiot and clumsy and then that'd be fine. And we never talk about it again. That's totally fine. Doesn't ruin the relationship, right? But if a couple of days after that, I'm hanging out with her again, and she goes, oh, excuse me, just need to get through. And then I'm like, oh, look out, I might touch your boobs again. That makes it fucking weird. And if I kept doing that every time the situation arose, that'd be creepy as fuck. And I think that's what could happen with your friend. And I think you need to stamp it out now. Otherwise, you're just going to have a dude who keeps talking about kind of asking. Basically, what he's doing is he's trying to see your tits again without asking. That's what he's doing. Because I've fucking done it before and then realized, shit, nah, I'm a creep. Like you like something accidentally kind of sexual will happen with a platonic friend that you're attracted to, and then you try and recreate it by bringing it up unnaturally in conversation, and then judging by their reaction, you kind of realize, fuck, that's just creepy. I'm not going to do that again. She's obviously not interested in me. I'm just going to drop it. That's what he's doing, where he's just completely just bringing it up out of nowhere. So you'll be talking like, so I got a new t-shirt today and it's red and I like it. It was only $10 at Kmart. And then he goes, yeah, it'd be great if I could see your tits. Like, that's what he's doing. So I think that what you'll have to do, Lily, is, I don't know, if he does it again, he might not do it again. He might realize that you're not into him after he's done it that first time. But if he does it again, I would just go, hey, Bob, I know that was a really weird thing that happened, but it was totally an accident, and I would really prefer if we didn't have to talk about it again. Is that okay with you? Because it was an accident, I didn't mean to send it to you, and I don't feel comfortable being reminded about it. And you know what? That'll work. And if it doesn't, Bob is just a big cunt, and you should not be mates with him. So thanks for the question, Lily. Let me know how that goes. Might read it out in the next episode. All right. I've got another question. Hello, Lewis. My name is Sarah. So I have a friend who has been dating a mutual friend of mine for a few months now. So your friend is dating another of your friends. I've known that my guy friend Mark has had issues in previous relationships with guilt-tripping girls into staying with him because he feels like if they leave, no one will love him. Yeah, what a bitch. Regardless of this, when my friend Laura expressed interest in dating him, I told her to go for it. I recognize this as not the best move on my part, but I can't change it now, so fuck it. So Laura and I are in a group chat on Kik, and although I don't think she knows I'm a part of it. Oh, so you're in a group chat with with Mark's girlfriend, and she doesn't know that you're there. Okay, cool. A few days ago, she asked the chat if she could get some opinions on something. I kept my mouth closed because I'm not the best at advice. Obviously, and neither am I, but I could run a whole fucking podcast about it. I'm not the best at advice, which I assume she was obviously ultimately wanting. So she's asking the group chat for advice. She proceeds to tell the group chat with screenshots that she just confessed her romantic love for her best friend. Oh, fuck. She shows screenshots of the conversation as it happens, and her friend seems receptive to the idea. Someone in the group points out that they thought Laura had a boyfriend. She responded to this by going into a rant on how she's never been interested in him, dated him out of pity and thirst, and now she's stuck in the relationship because of his aforementioned guilt tripping. At this point, I'm feeling a little bit guilty because I told him Laura was different and she wouldn't leave because that's what she told me. But I decided to take screenshots anyways because I'm a petty bitch and I knew my boyfriend, who is also friends with them, would enjoy the dramas around. Okay, so you're in a group chat and one of your friends is essentially cheating on your other friend and you've got screenshots of it. Okay. So now I have screenshots of not only Laura confessing her love, but her friend seemingly reciprocating it, and also her trash-talking her boyfriend and saying she will leave him the second her friend says okay. Laura and her friend are meeting up this weekend to talk about their feelings face-to-face. Yeah, they're going to fuck. That's what they're doing. They're not talking about their feelings. They're going to fuck. Hey, let's talk about our feelings alone together while I still have a boyfriend. Nah, they're going to fuck, all right? My problem is, should I show Mark the screenshots? I feel like he deserves to know she was saying this sort of thing about him, but at the same time, I know he'll be devastated. Should I wait until after the weekend to get the final verdict on Laura and her friend? Also, should I say anything to Laura about it? Thanks, Lewis. Really enjoy the podcast. Keep it up. Good work. Have a shit one. Thank you. I appreciate the email. That's a tough one because you're friends with both of them, right? See, if you were friends with just one of them, I'd straight up tell them and I wouldn't feel any remorse about it. But because you're friends with both of them, see, I assume you... I'm going to answer this as you want to keep the relationship with both of your friends strong. So... See, it's a hard one because you're friends with both of them, right? Look, this is what I would do. I would say... I would talk to the girl who's about to cheat on her boyfriend and say, hey, so I was in the group chat when you were talking about all of this stuff. I want you to know that I'm really good friends with Mark. Was that the dude's name? What's his fucking name? Yeah, Mark. I'm really good friends with Mark, and I can't stand by and keep this a secret for you. It's not fair for you to ask me to do that. So I can't do it. So I would like you to tell him that you're in love with someone else because, or I will. Do you want to do the ultimatum thing? You know what? Don't say that you're going to tell him. This is what I would say. I'd say it is unreasonable for you to expect me to keep a secret like that will destroy my friend. So if he ever asks me, I will tell him the truth. So you better tell him before he asks me. And I think that is completely fair. Because otherwise she's asking you to betray your friend. And sounds like you're not the type of person to do that. So yeah, I would tell the girl that she's in the wrong and what she's doing is fucked. It sounds like this girl is a bit of a cunt too. If she's telling a group chat about how she's going to cheat on her boyfriend, sounds like you might not want to be friends with her anyway. So if you want to preserve the relationship, you let her know that she needs to tell her boyfriend because you're not going to keep it a secret. You're not going to go and tell him, but if he ever asks about it, you're definitely going to say. But she sounds like a bit of a cunt, so I just tell your friend, man. It's You potentially you don't want dishonest people like that in your life. Anyway, I have one more question, but we're almost at an hour, and the next one's a really long one, so I'm going to answer it next week. It's a fucking good question too, from a girl, and I'll answer that next week. So thank you very much for listening, guys. As I was saying before, the podcast will be up early for Patreon supporters. So if you want to support me on Patreon, even if it's with fucking $6 a month, do whatever you like, and you'll get all videos and podcasts and articles and all the other shit I do for free. Early, sorry, and for free. It's not like I charge you cunts for anything. Anything else I need to talk about? loosebeers.com/gig list. I told the guy to write it down. Talked about Patreon.